From the moment Micah Parsons first learned how to outrun the older kids in his neighborhood in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, there was something unmistakably different about him, something electric and powerful that seemed woven into his very spirit. He was born with the kind of speed, explosiveness, and natural athletic instincts that don't come around often. But what truly set him apart wasn't just those gifts. It was the mentality behind them, the fearless hunger that lived in him long before the football world ever knew his name. Even as a child, Micah understood competition in a deeper, almost instinctive way. He loved it. He fed off it. He let it shape him, challenge him, push him. This mentality would become the foundation of one of the most dominant defensive careers the NFL has seen in a generation. Growing up wasn't always perfect for Micah, but his family played an enormous role in shaping him. His mother, Charisse, was the force who held everything together, balancing tough love with encouragement, knowing exactly when to push him and when to support him. His father, Terrence, helped nurture Micah's love for sports, teaching him discipline while giving him the space to find himself as an athlete. And his siblings, who were right beside him through every victory and every setback, created the competitive, energetic environment that young Micah thrived in. He learned early that talent means nothing without discipline. He learned that setbacks are not roadblocks, but reminders. And he learned that the people you grow up with become the people who keep you grounded, no matter how high you rise. By the time he reached high school, Micah had grown into something of a phenomenon in the Pennsylvania football world. His combination of size, speed, and agility was unheard of for someone his age, and he quickly became the type of player opposing coaches spent entire weeks preparing for. He could play on both sides of the ball, dominate at running back, terrorize quarterbacks at defensive end, and beat nearly anyone in a foot race. His explosiveness wasn't merely physical, it was emotional, intense, overwhelming. When he stepped onto the field, he felt like he belonged to a different level of competition altogether. That confidence didn't come from arrogance, but rather from the belief that hard work would always justify the swagger he played with. Recruiters from across the country recognized the rare makeup of an athlete who was not only big and fast, but also smart, instinctive, and deeply competitive. That understanding helped him rise to a five-star recruit status, one of the most coveted prospects in the nation. But the moment Micah committed to Penn State, everything became even more real. It was no longer just about dominating high school players. It was about stepping onto a much bigger stage, proving himself against elite competition, and carrying the expectations of an entire football-loving region on his shoulders. At Penn State, Micah embraced the challenge with the same fire that fueled him as a kid. The transition was not easy. College football requires discipline, sacrifice, and constant adaptation. But Micah showed early signs of becoming something extraordinary. Defensive coordinator Brent Pry saw the potential in him not just as a pass rusher, but as a complete linebacker with versatility rarely found in young players. Micah wasn't satisfied with just being good. He wanted to become a weapon, the kind of player who could change the flow of a game from any position on the field. Bit by bit, he turned himself into exactly that. His sophomore season became the year that truly revealed the monster inside him. With his blend of instincts, speed, and aggression, Micah quickly became the centerpiece of Penn State's defense. He didn't just make plays, he dictated the style of play. He tackled with authority, blitzed with fury, and moved with a smoothness that made even elite athletes look average. When he won the Butkus Fitzgerald Linebacker of the Year award, it became clear to the nation that he wasn't just a college star. He was a future NFL game-changer. And yet, through all the growing success, Micah remained deeply connected to his family and roots, constantly acknowledging the people who had lifted him, shaped him, and believed in him. When the Dallas Cowboys selected him in the first round of the 2021 NFL Draft, Micah walked into a franchise steeped in history, pressure, and endless expectations. The Cowboys wanted a defensive identity, a spark, a star, and Micah gave them all of that and more. As a rookie, he didn't ease into the league, he erupted into it. Playing linebacker, edge rusher, and everything in between, he demonstrated immediately that he was not a typical rookie trying to find his footing. He was a disruptor, a force capable of warping offensive game plans. His speed around the edge felt otherworldly. His power at contact was shocking. His balance, hand usage, and relentless motor made him feel almost unstoppable. In his first year, Micah recorded 13 sacks and finished as the unanimous Defensive Rookie of the Year. But more importantly, he instantly became the emotional engine of the Cowboys' defense. He played with passion, joy, and aggression, qualities that fans could feel even through their television screens. He didn't just elevate himself, he elevated everyone around him. Veterans gravitated toward him, young players admired him, and coaches trusted him with responsibilities rarely given to someone so new to the league. What made this even more impressive was that Micah still approached every game with a genuine sense of gratitude, not entitlement, not ego, but appreciation for the opportunity to compete at the highest level. As Micah's career continued to evolve, he only grew more dominant. His ability to rush the passer from multiple alignments, off the edge, through the interior, or even from linebacker depth, scaled to unprecedented levels. Offenses began to scheme entire protections around him. Quarterbacks began identifying where he lined up before every snap. Offensive coordinators admitted privately that Micah was one of the first players they accounted for in game plans. And yet, despite all the pressure and attention, he remained calm, grounded, and focused. His discipline came from years of learning how to balance competitive fire with humility. That maturity is what made him more than just an athletic specimen. It made him a leader. Beyond football, Micah's identity is shaped deeply by his family and by fatherhood. Becoming a parent changed him profoundly, giving him new purpose and grounding his perspective. He often speaks about his son with a mixture of pride and responsibility, recognizing that everything he does on the field is ultimately for the future he's building off of it. That love is evident in the way he carries himself and in the gratitude he expresses toward his family, who continues to support him through every phase of his career. His success, in many ways, is their success too. Micah also understands that his story carries weight beyond tackles and sacks. He is a role model for young athletes who come from challenging environments, who are told that their dreams might be too big or too unrealistic. He reminds them that toughness is built from adversity, that discipline comes from finding structure within chaos, and that greatness is no accident. It is the product of work, resilience, and unshakable belief. Kids see Micah and understand that possibility is real. Adults see him and recognize the maturity behind the swagger. Everyone who watches him play feels something from him, because his style demands emotion and commands attention. One of the most remarkable elements of Micah's journey is how rapidly he has grown, not just as a player, but as a professional. He has embraced film study with the same intensity he brings to pass rush drills. He has committed himself to refining technique, hand placement, leverage, footwork, angles, with almost obsessive focus. He has developed a reputation among coaches as someone who wants to be coached hard, who craves structure, and who thrives under pressure. That is rare in today's NFL, where pure talent often overshadows work ethic. But for Micah, the combination of both is what sets him apart. There are players who understand how to play fast, and then there are players like Micah Parsons who understand how to play fast with purpose. He doesn't simply chase the ball, he anticipates it. He doesn't rely solely on athletic ability. He pairs it with intelligence and emotional control. He doesn't just sack quarterbacks. He affects them from the moment the ball is snapped, compressing pockets, forcing hurried throws, disrupting rhythm, and turning offensive linemen into overwhelmed spectators. His dominance doesn't come from one dimension, it comes from all of them. That is what makes him one of the most terrifying defensive players of his era. As his star rises, Micah has become a central figure not only for the Dallas Cowboys, but for the entire NFL. His name is synonymous with explosiveness, with relentlessness, with modern defensive versatility. He is one of the few players who genuinely changes the ceiling of a team. And yet, through it all, he remains the same kid from Harrisburg who loves competition, who loves challenge, and who still carries his family's support with him every time he steps onto the field. Micah Parsons is not just an athlete. He is a story, one defined by resilience, family, passion, and a hunger so deep it cannot be taught. His journey reminds us that greatness is not built overnight, but through years of work, reflection, and responsibility. And what makes him truly special is that, for all he has already accomplished, his story is still very much being written. He has more to prove, more to chase, more to become. The game has not yet seen the full version of Micah Parsons, but even the version we have now already feels generational. Thank you for spending time with this deep, reflective tribute to the incredible rise, maturity, and dominance of Micah Parsons. If you enjoyed this journey and want more long-form storytelling that celebrates the athletes who shape the world of sports with heart, intensity, and purpose, be sure to stay connected, share your support, and return for more. Your presence means everything. See you in the next one.